at him fucking first, and he doesn't die. The game sucks, man. The game is fucking trash. The game is so fucking bad, dude. I just spawned. The guy's behind me killing me. Why would I want to keep playing? And we'll see how this goes. As you guys know, whenever I play Black Ops 4, it's kind of a mix. Some matches, I'll get a nice, good streak or a good, pattern, a good thing going. And I'll get some, basically a good, how can I say it? Momentum. Get momentum going. And then I'm able to do pretty well. Other times, not so much. Other times, it's just like death because of kill streaks and the like. In general, I am decent at Black Ops 4. I'm certainly not going to say that I'm good at it or competitive. I'm not. But since I started playing the multiplayer a little bit more seriously and trying to kind of learn the ins and outs of it, I have been doing better. And I enjoy it, I'd probably say about 50% of the time. 50% of the time I'm having fun. 50% of the time I'm frustrated at how crappy Call of Duty has become over the years. So, this should be fun. We'll see how this goes. This will be about 4 hours, of various multiplayer gameplay today. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. People seem to enjoy when I do these random sessions. So, that's going to be my first gameplay stream for today. Alright? Nothing too serious, right? Nothing. If you can see here, we're taking a break from Kingdom Hearts 3. Because, basically, I've been playing this game non-stop now for all week, ever since it came out on Tuesday. And I am approaching the end of it. A lot of people are saying, Phil, you're almost done with the game. To which I'm happy, because that means we can move on to other stuff. At the same time, for a game that many people waited 13 years for the next numbered installment for,
what?
A game that's beaten within a week is kind of underwhelming, I think.
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! Jesus Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all.
But it is what it is. I am enjoying it, although yesterday I was pretty bored with it. So I'm actually glad that finally today we're taking a day away before I return to it tomorrow. Okay? That's going to be all of today's stream. Alright? Tomorrow, like I said, we will return to Kingdom Hearts 3. And tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be returning to Dark Souls. Haven't done that now in over a week. So some Dark Souls Remastered returning for you tomorrow night. And then on Tuesday, it'll be more Kingdom Hearts, possibly the end game of Kingdom Hearts at this point, depending on how things go. And then it'll be Minecraft Tuesday night, and then Wednesday is my day off for the week, okay? I certainly don't want to promise you what I'm doing Thursday when I return, because it's all going to depend on how things have been going with Kingdom Hearts. Am I near the end? Have I beaten it? If not, how much longer? We'll see, okay? So that's the rough schedule for the next few days. Hope you guys will stop by. Keep in mind that next week will be a combination of the conclusion of Kingdom Hearts, the continuation of Dark Souls Remastered, the Magic Run, combined with the chill stuff that I've been doing, including Minecraft and Black Ops stuff. And there will be the retrospective marathon event will happen next week, okay?
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
In fact, that's going to happen more than likely right before Valentine's Day. Probably on the 13th of February would be a perfect day to do that. Because then for the 14th, I'm taking off for Valentine's Day to spend with Kat. And then on the 15th, we've got 3 new releases. Huge. So what else is going on, guys? A few things. Number one, I talked about this last night on my late stream. I'll very briefly talk about it here. Rest in peace to Machinima. Machinima has officially 100% been dismantled. They don't exist anymore. One of the biggest partnership companies on YouTube, one of the premier companies that everyone wanted to be a part of and be involved with, a company that at one point had millions and millions and millions of dollars of profit and had pretty much every major content creator having a series on there, is completely 100% defunct. It's gone. They've laid off all their employees. It's kaput. And it's a shame because over the years that I was partnered with Machinima, they really had some great things going for them. And sadly, in my opinion, the reason that they fell apart the way they did was horrendous leadership and management. They had people coming in and out, trying to lead this company in 100 different directions, didn't know what they should focus on. And just in the time that I was with them, just to give you some perspective, just in the time that I was with them, all right, their focus changed from being a partnership company to a company that wanted people to promote, create and promote content on their own channels, to a company that wanted to do like limited television style series and movies, to a company that wanted to send people to E3 to promote, and then people that wanted to promote games. Like, it just didn't make sense. They were so torn in a million directions. That never really made sense what they were doing. At all. Like, they didn't know who they wanted, what they wanted to be as a company. And the management, man, if they just had one series of management, like one set management, but they kept having people come in and out to lead the company in different ways. I hate to say it, but the last few years there, they had really, really bad leadership. Like, to give you some perspective, all right, the guy who was leading Machinima when I left was a guy who his entire life was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and had everything handed to him.
Phil, you make me angry, Phil.
He was rich as hell. He went to an Ivy League school. He held multiple top media company jobs. Yet, if you actually do research into the stuff he did, he never really did anything huge for any of these companies. The guy, just get this, because of course when I severed ties with Machinima in 2017, I wanted to look into this, like what's going on with this company. This guy was so full of himself, he actually bought the domain of his own name on the internet. So I have no recollection what his name was. I really don't. Let's say his name was Scott Peterson. He actually bought scottpeterson.com. And when you went to the site, it had a biography of him and a listing of all the things he felt were achievements in his life. This is not an exaggeration. I'm not making this up. This is what this guy did. And this is the guy who's trying to lead a major media company, a major gaming company. This guy, it was like, what the fuck is this? Bullshit! And basically the guy ran the company into the ground with horrendous, business decisions and leadership. And it sucks because, again, I know a lot of good people who've worked with Machinima or for Machinima. I mean, Machinima was the company that allowed me to do what I loved for a living. They partnered me on YouTube at a time when Let's Players, it was unheard of. It was unheard of that you would partner a Let's Player. It would mostly be people who were doing tutorial videos, or at that point it was Call of Duty players who really were kind of the prominent guys. And if you guys remember, it was actually Hutch, a prominent Call of Duty player who had been recruited by Machinima to move to California and work for them full time, who had kind of recruited me into the fold. And then over the years, like I said, I had many good interactions. This guy named Chris was really nice, who worked for the company in various roles over the years. And I mean, just really sad, because then now not only are they defunct, all of the videos that ever went on the Machinima channel are completely gone for good. All right. And not only that, but I'm a loser. Now, everyone who worked there is laid off. 80 plus people who are still working for the company. So pretty sad. Pretty sad. And, it is what it is, but it's kind of like it's an end of an era. That was the era of YouTube when partnership companies were all the rave, and you had to be with a partnership company in order to really make it. And you would kind of gotten some kind of prominence if you were with Machinima, and they were a huge, ginormous company. And now things have changed. Now it's almost like almost no one really needs an MCN anymore. In fact, you guys might not realize this. There's really no reason to be with a partnership company on YouTube anymore. All the incentives to be with one have been removed. Like YouTube used to only give the better ads to those in a partnership. They did away with that. Now everyone gets all ads equally. So literally, there's not even a reason to be in a partnership. Anyone who is, the only benefit I can imagine you're still getting out of a partnership is, number one, if you want some kind of support, if you have an issue with your channel and you want them to work with YouTube directly, you can. Although it doesn't really make sense, because if you have a big enough channel, you can talk to YouTube directly yourself anyway. And number two, I guess technically if you want to access things such as a music archive, like a royalty-free music archive, a lot of partnership companies offer that. But outside of that, there's like no reason whatsoever to be with a partnership company anymore. They pretty much, YouTube has made it just not needed anymore. It's funny because 2 years ago when I left Machinima, I was like desperately looking for another company to partner with. And now here we are 2 years later, there's not even a single reason to be with one. I wouldn't even go to another one if they offered me. I'd be like, there's no reason.
You serious?
So anyway, I digress. Thank you to those at Machinima who were nice to me over the years, but the company is now officially done, 100% dead, and, you know, goodbye to the legacy that was Machinima. Wow. Again, you know, when I was partnered with them, it was such a big thing, a change in my life. I was able for the first time ever to do what I loved for a living, and to see the company that was ginormously huge completely fall apart like this is just, like, staggering. But again, it doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have horrendous leadership and management that are basically a bunch of silver spoon-fed morons who think that they're smart just because they're rich, and then they end up ruining things, I guess that's what happened. You can fall apart. It was funny because last night on my Black Ops 4 Blackout stream, we were bringing out Don Matrick. And Don Matrick, if you guys remember, another guy, rich guy, who married to some heiress who's filthy rich, and he was the guy who sunk the Xbox One launch back in 2014 single-handedly, like with the shit he said in the media and everything, got him released from Microsoft. Then he went on to work for Zynga, and he worked for them for a year, tanked that company, and they fired him. Now he basically co-owns a gym, and that's all he does, and he lives off the money of his wife. Pretty funny, huh? But let's just keep giving them jobs. Like when he worked for Zynga, they paid him millions of dollars to tank the company, and then they fired him. So that's what I mean. Like, let's keep employing these dumb people so they can keep ruining companies instead of actually, you know, hiring intelligent people who know something about the industry. I'm just saying.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
It's actually funny because when I worked for the helicopter company years ago, kind of the same exact thing happened. They kept just bringing in people who were rich and who thought they knew shit to run the company rather than actually taking people who had tons of experience in the industry. It just baffles my mind that these companies still do this. And then they tank their own companies. It's like, well, whatever. Anyway, that is it for Machinima. Okay? Why am I toxic? One other thing, and this is kind of a little bit of bad news, which stinks, but there's not much you can do about it. Patreon is having problems this month processing people's pledges. So normally by now, those who pledged to my Patreon for January would have had their pledges processed. And as of today, I would have been messaging them on the website saying, okay, guys, here's what you need to do to get your perks for the month. I can't even do that because I checked this morning. Only about half of the people who had pledged to my Patreon for January have been processed as of today. Now, this is 3 days into the month. And Patreon yesterday actually sent out an alert email about this saying, yes, this is all screwed up. It's our fault. You know, it's not anything you guys have done wrong. It's our fault. Our processor isn't working properly. And so we're getting abnormally slow processing of pledges. So FYI.
Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
You know, it sucks because we know a lot of you need this money right away. It is what it is. You know, we're working as hard as we can. So I wish I could promise an ETA for those of you who are patrons of mine of when I can actually get you the information on how to get you your perks. I really can't right now. Basically, everything needs to process and clear first. But once it does, you know, later this week, I swear to you, I will get you your stuff as soon as possible. But I'm going to be very upfront and honest with you guys. I need you to help support everything, all right? I just feel, I feel like it stinks because I can't work on this and do it as quickly as I usually do. And I hope that doesn't disappoint anyone because it's not my fault. I'm just trying to, you know, I wish it was working now, you know? So, Jackie Swerve, no, it's not just my Patreon, it's everyone's, so I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds to me like you're full of crap. Yep, I'm toxic, because it's all of Patreon, that's why I got an email about it. It's not just me, everyone is processing very slowly. So. Alright, so, that's really it for kind of the updates this morning. don't really have much else to talk about. So I guess what we'll do is we'll get to the plug segment, and then we'll get the shout outs as usual. And, then we'll get set up here and started with Black Ops 4. Well, it seems to me that the Crook. Whoa, Jesus Christ, it scared the shit out of me. Oh! The pre-stream, I forgot to record it.
You're a dumbass.
I apparently completely forgot to record the pre-stream today. Alright then. Well. Sorry about that. For those, I guess, I would say sorry about that for those who are going to watch on YouTube, but they can't watch on YouTube. So there's no pre-stream for today, I guess, for YouTube. Oops. That's my fault. Oh well. Alexander Rossi says, just start all over again. All right, let's start. 15 minutes. No, we're not starting over. Trust me, that's enough of that. I don't want to talk about that crap again. That's right, Ipsilfin. It's kind of like yesterday. Excuse me. It's kind of like yesterday when I was going to let it go in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I muted myself. Oh my god, I'm a complete idiot. I'm a complete buffoon. I clicked the wrong audio feed and muted myself. Although for that one, I'll only take half the blame because for some reason OBS shuffles the order of audio feeds for no reason whenever you close the program and open it again. Like right now, the top audio bar shows desktop audio, which is the audio of all the things coming into my desktop computer. That's my main audio mix for the stream. Then it shows mic audio, that's me talking, and then it actually shows a few other audio feeds I don't use. Well, I might close OBS and open it again, and then my mic feed will be on top and the desktop audio will be under. For no reason. Not like I did it or anything. It just does it by itself. It randomly shuffles the audio feeds. I don't know why. So more than likely I was used to clicking one and then it shuffled it on me, so I clicked the wrong one. Nice boneheaded move. The first thing I can tell you, salt. That's all I can taste is salt. Right now, guys, if you, today is the last day of the week. If you want to get up on the cheering leaderboard, FYI, as of overnight on Sunday night, it resets. So as of tomorrow, the cheering leaderboard will be empty. So final day for those of you, if you want to get into the standings for the best cheers of the week, you could do so, okay? What? So just want to throw that out there. There are many ways to support me. You can pledge to my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil. You can buy some merch from Teespring. But in particular, today, guys, since you're on the live stream, you probably want to consider, contributing via either cheering, subbing, or tipping during today's stream. Because if you do, I will give you a live shout-out during the stream. Now, I'm playing multiplayer games today, which means it'll be harder for me to do the shout-outs immediately. But I do promise you that between the matches, I will be doing appropriate shout-outs, all right? Now, as you can see, we have a stream stats leaderboard. If you are the top cheerer or top tipper of the day, I will put you up on said leaderboard so you'll get extra recognition. Okay. In addition to that, we have done away with ties on said leaderboard. What that means is that if you are tied for a position, you are not going to go up there on the leaderboard. So let's say, for example, someone does a 50-bit cheer. Well, you'll get up there. Boom. Top cheer of the day. If someone else does a 50-bit cheer, I'll still give them a verbal shout-out during the stream, but they will not get up on the leaderboard because ties don't count. It's kind of a first-come, first-served thing. Now, if you did 51 bits, boom. You would then kick the person out of the top spot, and you would be the top cheerer on the leaderboard, okay? Just trying to make this clear so that people understand how it works now. Because when we were doing ties, there were way too many ties, and the entire leaderboard was being bloated and everything. So, first come, first serve. Only if you're the person to unseat the person who's the current top cheerer or tipper will you get up on the leaderboard, all right? As you know what the hell they're talking about, so.
God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around.
All right, so. I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay.
Last night, the president gives a State of the Union address. As you recall from yesterday's show, I was looking forward to the State of the Union address the way that I normally look forward to a root canal. It's just not my thing. I don't like the State of the Union address. I think it's a monarchic, stupid institution. I think it's full of silly theatrics. Last night's was uniquely entertaining for a variety of reasons. The number one reason it was uniquely entertaining is because every State of the Union address, we get the game of who stands up, who sits down, who claps, who cheers, how do people respond? And the Democrats did, I thought, a pretty horrendous job of responding to President Trump's speech. It seems that they had a basic rule, which is that they were not going to clap for anything. And then Nancy Pelosi, in all of her wisdom, might lead them once in a while in clapping. But President Trump successfully made them look silly in what they chose to clap for and what they did not choose to clap for. Meanwhile, he gave what was one of the best speeches of his career. Now, it was delivered with typical Trump sort of half interest because he was reading from a teleprompter. All of his best moments came when he was off teleprompter, when he was sort of riffing with the room or something would happen and then he'd drop a funny line. And what was weird about the entire event is that we live in an extraordinarily politically divided time, but it was kind of a feel-good speech. You came away from the speech thinking, okay, well, that was kind of nice, right? Like everybody seemed to get along and maybe the country isn't in that much trouble, which is what Trump was going for. So let's jump right into President Trump's State of the Union address. The theme of his address was choosing greatness. That was the overarching theme. And his basic idea was that America not only should be great again, but also America has been great in the past. And this is a narrative that Trump is on solid ground in talking about, because there really are two visions of what America is and has been. There's the Republican vision, the conservative vision, which says America was founded on eternal truths and guiding principles. We haven't always lived up to those, but we have always moved toward the better fulfillment of those principles. And we have freed millions of people from slavery and depredation. We have freed billions of people from poverty. In other words, America is a pretty freaking phenomenal place. America's a phenomenal place. And our shortcomings, our attempt to correct those shortcomings is part of that story, right? The fact that we have not always lived up to our best principles and that we have tried to correct ourselves, that's because we are so incredible. Then there's the Democrat vision of the United States, founded in racism, sexism, bigotry, patriarchalism, and we have gradually moved away from that founding toward a better future. But we're not there yet, and America's still kind of a hellhole, and therefore we need to continue fighting to overcome our past. That's sort of the Democratic vision. One is the vision of a people that was founded on good ideas, and we're constantly trying to better ourselves to live up to those ideas. And one is the sort of America was founded in sin, rooted in sin, can never escape that sin. Trump laid out that contrast pretty nicely last night. More than anything, Democrats laid out that contrast when they refused to clap for basically obvious ideas about America. So here's President Trump last night talking about choosing greatness.
We must choose between greatness or gridlock, results or resistance, vision or vengeance, incredible progress or pointless destruction. Tonight, I ask you to choose greatness.
Okay, now it's important to note that this speech was much better written than a lot of his other speeches. So it's pretty obvious Stephen Miller did not write the speech. Stephen Miller's speeches are they're replete with a dark vision of America, a vision of America where it's carnage and chaos. This speech was all about America being pretty awesome, which, as the incumbent president, President Trump needs to make the case for. You can see in the background, if you were watching this, that Nancy Pelosi is ruffling through sheets of paper, which, by the way, is kind of rude. I mean, just if a Republican had done that while President Obama was president, there'd be endless talk about how condescending it was. Nancy Pelosi, however, was deeply condescending last night, and the media cheered it. The media coverage of the State of the Union address, which we will get to in a little while here, was as stupid and nonsensical and partisan and biased as any coverage I've ever seen of the president, which is to say, it was another day in American media. President Trump then started talking about how unemployment rates have dipped to record lows. And again, Democrats refuse to cheer for record low unemployment rates. You would figure that really that's bad optics. And what they'd really want to say is, yes, unemployment rates have dipped to record lows as part of the continuing success of the Obama economy, right? Just all you have to do, just politically, is say the reason that the economy has continued to boom is because it was already doing well under Obama, and it has continued to do well under President Trump. Not the end of the world, but Democrats couldn't even bring themselves to cheer for low black unemployment rates.
Unemployment has reached the lowest rate in over half a century. African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment have all reached their lowest levels ever recorded. Unemployment for Americans with disabilities has also reached an all-time low. Okay,
Nancy Pelosi is sitting there not cheering, and there are the Democrats sitting there not standing up, not cheering. So is it a bad thing that people with disabilities are working? Weird. Okay, so the Democrats were refusing to cheer for low unemployment rates. They also definitely refused to cheer for putting sex traffickers out of business, which is a weird look. So President Trump says, now it's time for America to end sex trafficking. It's time for America to end illegal immigration that involves human trafficking. And the Democrats are sitting there like, no, we like human trafficking. Now, obviously, they don't like human trafficking, but they don't want to give President Trump any sort of win here, even if what he's speaking about is a basic principle of being a human. So watch this.
Now is the time for Congress to show the world that America is committed to ending illegal immigration and putting the ruthless coyotes, cartels, drug dealers, and human traffickers out of business.
And then there's Kamala Harris shaking her head. Oh, that's terrible. Putting sex traffickers out of business. Wow. She's a tough prosecutor, you know. She's a tough prosecutor who really cares about crime rates. She's so tough that she shakes her head when we talk about putting sex traffickers out of business, Kamala Harris. What a delight she is. Okay, so the Democrats definitely showing how, Trump should just run endless commercials in 2020 of him saying eminently obvious things and Democrats shaking their heads or refusing to clap. Now, that's a pretty good commercial for him against Kamala Harris. We want to put sex traffickers out of business. And Kamala Harris like, no, we don't. No, let's not do that. Shaking my head ruefully. Just terrible. And then President Trump got to his illegal immigration pitch, in which he said, correctly, that tolerance for illegal immigration is cruel because what you actually want is lots of legal immigrants, and illegal immigration comes with severe human cost. Now, this was pretty amazing. Once again, Democrats refuse to acknowledge that he is correct, that people are damaged in transit when they are brought in by coyotes. So here is President Trump speaking about it.
Tolerance for illegal immigration is not compassionate. It is actually very cruel. 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the long journey north. Smugglers use migrant children as human pawns to exploit our laws and gain access to our country.
Now, one of my favorite media fact checks occurred about this line of the speech. So President Trump said 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the long journey north. Statistics suggest that 31% of women are sexually assaulted on the long journey north, which is about 1 in 3, right? I mean, it's pretty close to 1 in 3. So the fact checker said partly true. Partly true. So in other words, 33% is 1 in 3. It was 31%. He said 1 in 3, and they rated it partly true because the fact checkers are so full of it. The fact checkers are just terrible. I mean, the fact checks of the State of the Union address are so absurd. A woman at the New York Times, we'll see later that President Trump suggests that a Jew who was freed from Dachau, a death camp during the Holocaust, saw American soldiers coming from the sky and thought they came from heaven. And a fact checker from the New York Times said, Jews don't believe in heaven. It's like, well, you had one job, guys. We sort of do. And President Trump continued. He talked about walls working. He spent an awful lot of time in the speech talking about illegal immigration. And then his conclusion was walls work, which obviously is his main campaign pitch, because in about a week and a half here, we're going to go into possible second government shutdown or him declaring a national emergency. So here's him making that case.
Simply put, walls work and walls save lives. So let's work together, compromise, and reach a deal that will truly make America safe.
Okay, and the Democrats won't cheer for that. So we have to recap. Democrats will not cheer for making America safe through compromise. Democrats will not cheer for low unemployment for blacks, Hispanics, Asian Americans, and Americans with disabilities. Americans, they will not cheer for ending sex trafficking. You ask yourself, what will Democrats cheer for? What do they like? And it turns out that what Democrats will cheer for is themselves. They love themselves. Just like Jim Acosta loves Jim Acosta, Democrats love themselves, some Democrats. It was an appalling display. This was truly appalling. So President Trump talks about high employment among women. And I guess we're not allowed to cheer for black employment or Hispanic employment or Asian employment or disabled people employment. We are able to cheer only for people with vaginas employment. Although maybe that's overstated because some men are women, as we've learned. So people who identify as women employment, that we are allowed to cheer for because women are so put upon in American society. Women have it so rough in American society. We say as we look at the Speaker of the House, who is a woman sitting behind the President of the United States during the State of the Union address. I'm going to play you the self-serving, gross, self-congratulatory nonsense that the Democrats participated in last night. It made them look particularly bad, and it exposed their vision of America that is false and truly morally off-putting. I mean, I was really off-put by this, and I think a lot of people were. I'll show you the key moment of the entire night. President Trump has been unable to unify the Democrats and the Republicans about anything. President Trump has been unable to get Democrats to clap for anything up to and including more black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and people with disabilities working. They will not cheer for anything. But then he stumbles on the one thing Democrats will cheer for, Democrat women will cheer for, these fighters for the underclass. What will they cheer for? Themselves. So here was this self-congratulatory girl power bachelorette party nonsense that happened at the State of the Union address last night.
No one has benefited more from a thriving economy than women, who have filled 58% of the newly created jobs last year. All Americans can be proud that we have more women in the workforce than ever before. And exactly 1 century after Congress passed the constitutional amendment giving women the right to vote, we also have more women serving in Congress than at any time before.
And there they are cheering themselves. Yay, we love us. We're the best. AOC turns around and she actually gives an air high five to no one. Really, that happens. They're cheering. They're dancing. They're so happy about it. They love them. My goodness, the obstacles they've overcome. My goodness, what a place America is because these women were elected. Okay, this is off-putting garbage. The reason it's off-putting garbage is because if we are going to talk about the privileges that people have been given in the United States, it is a privilege to be born a woman in the United States today. America is the freest country in world history, the most upwardly mobile country for women in world history. This notion that women are uniquely put upon in American society is sheer statistical nonsense. It is just not true. And not only is it not true, the absurdity of these women declaring themselves heroes. Look at what we've achieved. Look at what we've done. Because look how much we've had to What has AOC had to overcome? Like a thing. I'm not asking like many things. I'm asking like a thing. She's a 29-year-old bartender with no credentials and no capacity to understand basic economics. She sits in Congress and is extraordinarily famous. What's the obstacle she had to overcome? Why are we cheering this as though this is something unique in American life? As though she is she's breaking a glass ceiling. It's just not true. It's just not true. And it does show the vision that Democrats have for the country. Okay, I want to talk about this in just a second. Democrats see America as a very different place than Republicans see America. So as I say, Republicans see America as a place with eternal truths. Truths like we are all created equal in the eyes of God. Like we all have equal rights. And we have imperfectly applied that rule, but we have moved toward the application of that rule. Women were given the vote more than a century ago. Okay, women have been in politics for a very long time. Women constitute the majority of voters. They constitute the majority of college graduates. They constitute the vast majority of people who gain new jobs in the current economic upsurge. Women have had more wage mobility in the last 30 years than men have in the United States. Women are not victims. And this notion that Democrats are pushing that women have overcome now because lots of women were elected to Congress. Oh, look at us. We are just so awesome. It's so funny. AOC will say that she has cisgender privilege, because she's a cisgender woman, she has privilege. We all have to acknowledge our privilege. White privilege and male privilege, the privilege of the patriarchy. But nobody in the Democratic Party will acknowledge the greatest privilege of all, which is that they stand on the shoulders of people who actually made sacrifices, people who actually had to overcome, people who actually were part of the American story, making America better. Sitting around and championing yourselves as overcoming some sort of victimhood when you've experienced no victimhood is a mark of ingratitude and nastiness. There are people in that room who had to live through the civil rights movement and actually did heroic work. I'm talking about people with whom I disagree harshly on politics, people like John Lewis, who actually had to live through the civil rights movement and were deeply influential in helping make the country a better place. Those people, if you say John Lewis sits in American Congress, that's something to cheer about. AOC sits in American Congress. Oh, let's cheer because women are in Congress now. I'm sorry. There was nothing that was overcome here. Nothing. There was no barrier to entry for women in Congress. There is nothing uniquely amazing about what just happened in the last election. I know we're supposed to pretend that women broke through a glass ceiling. There was no glass ceiling in American politics. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote in the last election cycle. She was Secretary of State. Condoleezza Rice was Secretary of State. Sarah Palin ran for Vice President. Nancy Pelosi, this is not her first round as Speaker of the House. She was Speaker of the House 12 years ago. Can we stop pretending now that women are massively victimized in American society by the patriarchal hierarchy?